I am the president and founder of Creating Connections Piece by Piece. And today we have Mrs. Samantha White, who is on our show. She also has autism, and she's also going to tell us about her life history, and she's going to give us different, like other advices and all that good stuff. And I also aim to help other people communicate with other people who are like me and like her, because we are both on the spectrum. And what age were you diagnosed with autism?
I was diagnosed when I was 25, about to turn 26.
And what were some of the first temptations? And what are some of the symptoms that told you you needed to go get tested?
Well, I knew I needed to get tested because I was having repeated conflicts at jobs and in relationships, and I wanted to get better. I was really sad and depressed, and I was looking for answers. And finding out that I had autism helped me a lot, uh, from every aspect of my life, from eating to relationships to calming myself down when I was upset.
Well, that is good. And so, what is it like to be a mother and to have a husband who is also autistic and to have two children who are also autistic as well?
Well, I think it's beautiful. Um, we all understand each other in a way I don't think other people may have understood me growing up. Um, I understand that my daughter, when she is struggling, I understand it's real to her, even if to everyone else it looks like a very tiny thing that doesn't matter. I know it very much matters to her. So I take her feelings seriously and walk her through how to kind of manage those big feelings and to have safe hands, or how to navigate the situation. And I think it's like that for all of us, my whole family. And we get each other in a way that I think autistic people usually get each other.
I like that. That's a good answer. You're doing good so far too. And how do you do on loud noises, whether it's loud noises at a football game or anywhere else where there's a loud band playing? How do you do with the loud noises?
Well, if I know the loud noise is about to happen, I'm okay actually. I'll be a little bit more nervous, but I still can be in a concert or a football game. But if I don't know the loud noise is about to happen, um, many people will think I'm overreacting because I'll jump, I'll be scared, I'll flinch, and it's because it's sudden, it's too loud, and I didn't know it was about to happen.
Do you have any sensitivity to any textures or any kind of smell or foods or anything like that?
I'm pretty sensitive when it comes to certain foods, but it's mostly through my body's more sensitive. I'm lactose intolerant, gluten intolerant. So I just have to be careful. Greasy foods just do not work with me. So my diet is a little blander than most. Than too many spices, or I need it the same throughout the meal, if that makes sense. So I really like
Mhm.
sauces.
Oh, that
Um,
definitely does.
yeah. So I've been falling in love with Indian food and Chinese food, Asian food mostly, because they use a lot of gravy like sauces. And of course, good old Southern gravy. It tastes great to me. Um, so a lot of my sensitivities with food have to do with the same, but I also have a lot of sensory issues when it comes to touch. So long sleeves help me a lot, um, just because it helps me feel okay. I could tolerate other types of shirts when I'm trying to be fancy, but not for everyday wear. Um, I don't know how to explain it other than it feels painful. Light touches, if it's too light, it feels painful. But if
It,
it's a deep or it's touching me the same throughout, I feel fine. So that's why long sleeves, jeans, things like that just feel more comfortable than maybe a blouse where it feels different on different sections.
yep. I kind of have, like sensitivity, more to jalapenos, anything spicy. And
Oh yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Chinese food, and when I eat tomatoes, the texture, I kind of gag a little bit too.
Ah, yeah. That's how I feel about strawberry seeds. Strawberry seeds, all the little seeds, it it gets to me. But that's a perfect example of how like different it is on the spectrum, right?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, most definitely. And have you ever had any rundowns with police?
Yes, I have had several encounters. Some encounters were friendly. It would be me accidentally needing to change a dead light bulb or something, and they were always really polite to me. But the times where I know I was in the wrong, um, I I was very nervous. I was scared, and I think that usually they could tell, but they thought it was something worse. Some usually, like a simple traffic stop for them was terrifying for me. That happened this past summer. I was terrified, even though I know on their end it probably wasn't as big of a deal.
Yeah. And do you think the state should of Texas should pass a law requiring police officers, firemen, paramedics, lawyers, judges, school teachers, school principals, counselors, and even therapists all to get certified on how to deal with people like us who have autism?
Yes, I think something that many of them are confused on what autism is and what that means. I think it's very common for them to mistake our body language as being on drugs or being suspicious. Um, I think I think everyone should know a little bit more about autism because everyone encounters autistic people. Like even your store clerk might be thinking someone is on drugs when in reality, no, they are struggling with their card on the card machine and they just need an extra minute, or maybe they're overwhelmed and they just need a quiet spot. I think the sad part of when it comes to autism is that people think it's too much work to do this stuff for us, but in reality it makes not lives only better for autistic people but even your average person. Having a quiet room to take someone who is upset um isn't a bad thing. Normal, your average person goes through those emotions. Maybe they get a terrifying phone call about someone in the hospital and they start crying. Uh, Having a quiet space for them to process what they just heard is better for everyone, not just autistic people. So I think the neurodiversity movement is a kind thing for all of us to learn more about autism and other invisible disabilities. And it's also just being kind to others, not assuming the worst of them, but maybe assuming that they just need a little extra help.
I agree. I agree with everything you just said. And have you had any rundowns with the judicial system?
I did. I did have a run with the judicial system once. I will be honest, I didn't really know what was going on. Um, I have some audio processing issues where if I'm not familiar with terms, uh, like everyday terms, even if I know about it, I'm still confused. So I do wish if I ever have an encounter again, I could ask for printouts so I could go over it. And look, someone's in the chat, so I'm going to respond to them really quick.
Okay.
Let's see. How
Uh,
do I say hi? I'm not sure how to say hi, but hello to Mick Bernard. Hmm. That
okay.
almost sounds like my brother-in-law's name. Hi.
Let me know when you're ready for the next question.
Go ahead.
What was your life growing up as an autistic in high school and grade school?
So, in grade school and high school, I will say it was kind of lonely. Um, I didn't know what was going on. I just thought I was weird and different. And I'm pretty sure that's just what everyone thought. Sam was just a little weird and different. Um, no one quite understood that when I was sick, I was sick. It takes me out. So I was sent to the nurse often, sent to the library often. So I was often alone, and I don't think teachers knew why I did the things I did. So they didn't feel the need to maybe explain to other kids to what was going on. And I think that hurt a lot of potential relationships because I didn't know I was doing things differently that could be done in a different way. And they didn't know that I wasn't doing it on purpose to not be mean. So all that miscommunication made it pretty lonely. It wasn't until college that I started meeting more people who were kind of like me that I started feeling accepted.
And do you think college and high school students should be required in their curriculum to graduate to take courses of how to deal with people who have autism on the spectrum, like me and like you and like others?
I think we should go beyond just autism. I
Yeah.
personally believe that we need a class that goes over neurodiversity in general and also self care. I am devastated that we have such high rates of suicide when college students enter college their freshman year. And I believe it's due to them being unaware of different mental health issues or the possibility of self management skills. They don't know how to cope with all these feelings. And I think if we taught more about self care in general, like drinking water or changing rooms or just basic things you do when you're upset or overwhelmed, it's not common sense to everyone. And I think we are treating it as common sense. I don't think you even need to be autistic to struggle with these things. But teaching people all these skills will benefit autistic people. And introducing them to, like, hey, if you have these signs, maybe get tested for autism or ADHD or OCD, all these different things. What's the harm of people being tested if or screened at the very least? Because then we will catch undiagnosed people even sooner. I believe nowadays schools are a lot more progressive when it comes to diagnosing us in school, but I still think we could go beyond that when it comes to maybe helping those who don't quite meet the threshold that they're looking for, but still need these skills and still need help. We should not be waiting till people are failing or dying to give them the support they need to get help.
Oh, I agree with you 100% on that. And I will fight every day for our lawmakers to pass these stuff too. And so, when, for example, like when you see some, like when somebody is, like getting annoyed, like repeating the same phrases over, which is one of the most common traits of autism, Like, how would you describe and what kind of advice would you give someone who is annoyed with it on how to handle it, like how to handle it in a nice way?
So many times, I struggle to say the word. It's like echolalia. I can't say the word, but yes. Autistic people process things differently. So we often repeat things that we hear in an attempt to process what we're being told. If other people are getting frustrated with how we process words, I offer three things. One, ask yourself, are they doing it to cause harm to you? If not, then you need to accept it. Just as, because at the end of the day, everyone does things that may be annoying to another person. But if they're not actively hurting you, then you can take a deep breath and just deal with it.
Yeah,
And autistic people, yes, a lot of our traits are outward and are a little different. Us repeating things, us moving around a lot, as in stimming or doing repetitive behaviors. But at the end of the day, no one is being hurt doing that. If I can be polite and try asking people how are you when I greet them, or things like that, that I'll be honest, their social norms I don't really understand, then they can accept me where I am and accept that I might repeat things when I'm trying to process.
yeah,
And so that's one thing, to just not assume the worst. um Two, you are more than welcome to admit it bothers you and saying it's a me problem. It bothers me a lot of times when people are don't consider my needs, but then I tell myself it's a me problem. I need to take care of myself. If someone's doing something that's overwhelming me, I have the power to walk away and to take care of myself. Everyone has that ability, and some more than others. Some people may not have that ability, and you need to be willing to admit it. Not every autistic person is going to be able to walk away when they're overwhelmed. But if you have the power to walk away, then you have to acknowledge you have that power. And the third thing, so don't assume the worst, acknowledge you have the power to walk away. And also, you can ask, if it's too much, the repeating, we could always change our form of communication. Many times, autistic people do communicate a little better writing things down. Orally is hard for us, talking out loud. So people have the ability to say, this is bothering me. Can we change the conversation to over text?
yeah. And how would you do? What kind of advice would you give to people who are annoyed with, like obsessive interest in one topic, which is another common trait? Who people who get annoyed on how to handle it and why?
So I think everyone is justified on what they're feeling, but everyone has a responsibility of how they react with their behaviors. So it's okay to be annoyed. I know it's a little annoying me. My special interest is well, my business. I love making things for people. I love making things for the autistic community. It's hard for me not to talk about it. I think it's completely okay to be annoyed and to tell me, "Hey, Sam, uh, you're accidentally talking about that a lot. Can we change the subject?" I think you can be annoyed without being ugly. You can you have the ability to politely ask um, somebody to change the subject. And that's an accommodation, because autistic people will not purposely be trying to overtake the conversation. And it might take practice on their end. And if you really want to, you could come up with strategies to have them acknowledge how often they do it. Tally marks on a notepad, or um, having little tokens when they, and then comparing tokens at the end. Like, this is the amount of tokens you have where you chose the conversation compared to my tokens of when I got to choose the conversation, to make it a little bit more literal.
Yeah. And yeah, you hit the nail on the spot too. And how would you give advice to somebody like say somebody gets tired of like giving hugs or giving, like over hugging or handshaking? How would you address someone on how to handle that one?
That's once again coming to self accommodating or asking for accommodations. It's okay to be overwhelmed or to want a hug in a different way, but we have to, on our part, self advocate for ourselves. Hi, I'm a little overstimulated right now for a hug, but I'm really happy to see you. uh it That sentence might seem a little rude to a neurotypical person. However, to an autistic person, they're being quite literal. It's painful for them to hug right now, and they're advocating for themselves by stating that. So it's a little bit of give and take on both ends. And I will say neurotypical people also, they need that connection too, to feel loved. So when we can handle it on our end, we do need to try to reach out. Like, for example, um, holidays are very overwhelming for me. They're very overwhelming, actually. Uh, but I have like a kind of unwritten rule with my mom. She loves pictures. Pictures are how she sees memories. And it's very important for her, for me to make sure I introduce myself to everyone at parties, and to make sure she has pictures when I'm leaving, before I leave. And I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing for me to reach. If I'm always going to be leaving early because I'm overwhelmed, I need to make sure her needs are met too, so she feels loved. So I think it's definitely a compromise, give and take. But at the end of the day, if we don't talk to each other and communicate about what our needs are, we can't assume other people know.
And this will I probably have one more final question, and then I will give you like the floor to talk about anything you want to. And on
Okay.
the last question, how would you describe if somebody was on their phone, like say in a social conversation, like acting like they were studying or like they're busy just to because they were annoyed? How would you describe that? Would you describe that rude or a nice way to tell someone you're annoyed, or how would you describe it?
I'm a little confused. Is there a Do we know if the person was annoyed and that's why they were on their phone, or we're assuming that they were annoyed and on their phone? Because those
Yeah.
are two different situations.
Yeah. Well, if they're annoyed and they're trying to act like, but they don't want to, like be rude by telling us, you know what I mean?
I think that's within their right, to be honest. If they are on their phone because they're purposely distracting themselves to emotionally regulate themselves, to kind of, don't get mad, just read something for a second. Um, that's one thing. Now, if they're purposely ignoring somebody talking to them, or purposely hurting someone's feelings, that's a different situation. And I think at that point, we go back to my to what I brought up earlier. We are responsible for our actions and our behaviors, not necessarily for our feelings. It's okay to feel annoyed, but if the behavior you're doing is purposely ignoring somebody and trying to avoid talking to them, I think that's ugly, and that's not the correct way to deal with the situation.
I agree. Oh, I agree with
Um,
you on that.
the correct response would be, instead, to say, "Hey, I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. I need a break. Um, can we continue this conversation later?" Or at least giving a hint to the autistic person what is going on. Just ignoring them and letting them talk and not communicating what's happening is, to me, I'm going to say it, it's a little bit of bullying. It's purposely taking advantage of the autistic person not catching on what is happening, and that's not right.
Nope. All right. So, is there anything else on the show you would like to talk or share with us, or anything? Or
Yes. So, Dustin introduced me earlier. He said I was on the spectrum, and my family's on the spectrum. And because of this, I'm a former special ed teacher, and I make my own resources for my family. And I was doing it for free on a blog for a little bit, and I decided to take it to the next step. I made a business completely focused on making resources for autistic people and their families and their support circles. Many of my resources are free. I'm not just doing paid resources that you could buy, because I believe everyone deserves the support. Um, I'll be honest, I have created a nonprofit before, and it's very, very hard. I hands down to Dustin for doing it, because of the constant fundraisers. Um, so I'm doing it this way. I just am giving free resources to the community through my blog on my shop website. But if you want to leave a tip or buy our premium resources to support me, you're more than welcome to do so. But my business is called Helping Hands Creations. And hopefully, Dustin, if you don't mind, I could maybe give a link to people if they want to check it out with the video.
that's good. That'll be great. You can share this video with anybody you want. That's what this video is made for, to bring quite awareness in the world.
Thank you, Dustin.
Very well.
And I know your work is very important with sharing what autism is with our police officers, firefighters, and other emergency responders. So thank you.
My pleasure. Is there anything else on the show?
No, I don't think we have anyone asking us questions, but if you ever want me and Dustin to do a repeat, I'm more than happy to. So be sure to share his video. And if you want us to answer certain questions, please leave a reply.
All right. Well, Sam, thank you so much for coming on the show, and you gave some great answers today. You did really good today.
Thank you, Dustin. You did too.
My pleasure. Well, thank you so much, and I hope you all enjoyed watching this video. And if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel and click something. If y'all have any questions in the comment box, please feel free to submit them. And hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your day, and have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Sam. You have a great day as well. All right.
You too, Dustin. Bye.
Bye bye.